This month's book chat by Book Rat Misty is the Books for Our Younger Selves chat. I responded to a video last month and we talked about classical literature, and I really enjoyed participating in that conversation, so I thought I would do it again. I am the supplier, and this is books that I would give to my teenage self. Last week I left a comment on Misty's channel about how I completely missed young adult literature when I was actually a young adult, and I think part of that was I was in high school in the 90s, and young adult literature is not near as big as it is now, even though, it did exist. So I went from what we would classify as middle grade to adult fiction. I read Walden for fun, and I read lots of John Grisham in high school. I went through a huge law enforcement phase, which was actually reflected in both the novels I read and much of the television that I watched. It's kind of weird to look back on now. So the young adult literature that I would have given myself falls into 4 categories: faith, music, coming of age, and girls can kick ass and take names too. I've mentioned a couple times that I read Siddhartha at the right time in my life, but before I got there, another good text for me would have been Godless by Pete Houtman, about a kid who is fed up with the religion of his parents, and he sets out to, create a new one. And it worships the water tower in his town, and he learns about how religion kind of ends up with a mind of its own, and people bring to it and take from it whatever it is they feel is necessary. I think I would have also liked A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, but I think that this might have had something to do with how it reminded me of The Craft, which was this terrible occult movie from my teen years. And then this last one was an afterthought, and I'm a little bit ashamed that it was an afterthought for this category, but it's Looking for Alaska by John Green. Behind all the pranks and the bad things that happen in the novel, Pudge is trying to write this paper for his religions class, and it is the things that happen and his reflection on the things that happen that help him create the composition for this class. And I would leave this book to myself with a note saying, check out YouTube in 2007 and you'll find the community that you already belong to. I think that as a teen, I was very regimented with the way I created music. With the exception of jazz band, there wasn't much that I created that wasn't already on the page. I don't feel like I had any original ideas or any creativity to speak of. That is how I see it now. I could be wrong. Anyway, these are the books that have inspired me as an adult musician, and I hope that they would have inspired me as a teenage musician. So they are Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly, If I Stay, I have it in the wrong hand, If I Stay by Gail Foreman, and Guitar Notes by Mary Amato. And they all take a different approach to music than the one that I experienced, particularly Guitar Notes and If I Stay. And they have characters who all play classical music and are very good at it, but are not completely fulfilled by it. And I remember feeling that way about music when I was a teenager. Now, as an adult, I make music on my own terms and have no organized band to speak of, and I really enjoy it so much more. And I would like something like that for my younger self, this ability to make music and enjoy it and feel fulfilled by it. And what's great about these 3 books, as I've read them as an adult, is that they really do inspire me to write the music that I write and create the songs that I create, and even the parodies that I'm working on with the English department at my school. And now music is fun. I mean, it was fun to a certain extent then, but it's like really fun now. And I would have liked that kind of fun for my younger self. The books in the coming of age category are not books that I'm really going to talk about, but if I had a time machine and I could transport back into the late 90s, I would hand myself Kissing Kate by Lauren Myracle and Parrotfish by Ellen Whitlinger, with a note that says, "Trust me." I'd probably also hand myself The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky in the hopes that it would become my pocketbook instead of Dubliners by James Joyce, out of which I only reread one story, A Painful Case, over and over and over again. And this is so much more hopeful and I don't know, inspiring than James Joyce's A Painful Case is. This is the last category, and I love strong female characters now. I remember watching Xena as a teenager and loving it. Girls who kick ass and take names. So I would probably have liked some of these as well. Graceling, Fire, and Bitter Blue by Kristen Kishore. Graceling is actually on my feature shelf at school right now, since this was the same category for the edition of feature shelf for this week. But I definitely would have given my younger self these three titles. All of the women in these books are strong and complex and fallible characters, and it was really understanding fallibility that I needed as a teen. I have nothing else to say besides they're awesome, and if you haven't read them, then you should. You want to read the Graceling books. Okay, that was a lot of books in a really short period of time. And I suppose it was a good thing that I was a reader, right? Or am a reader. Anyway, thank you, Misty, for this month's topic, and if you haven't seen her video, go check it out. There's a link in the description and probably one on the screen somewhere. If you have comments for me, please feel free to leave them here on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And all that info is on the end screen and in the description. And if you're interested in any of the books, the titles that I talked about, there's a link for the blog post in the description, and in that blog post there's a transcript of this video with links to the books that I talked about. I will see you tomorrow for Sunday Book Stack number 8. I am the Supplier, wishing you happy reading. Don't forget to be awesome.